saying thanks again for tuning in to Hidden Magic TV. We are here with Penny with Mamarazzi Photography, correct?
Correct.
All right, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about today about her and her business, how you got started. You were telling me some stuff that is absolutely interesting, stuff that I never knew. Okay, so let's talk about. You said you were fifth generation Tampa.
Port Tampa.
Port Tampa.
Yes.
Right. So talk about that. So y'all were here a long time ago.
A long time ago. Port Tampa was actually a city before Tampa, and in 1961 we were incorporated by Tampa. So I remember when we had our own mayor and our own police department of one person.
Wow.
And we still have the jail down there that has 2 cells in it.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was its own.
We were a city before
Really?
Tampa was ever in existence.
I never knew that.
Yeah, most people don't.
That is crazy. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That is insane. So now you said that, are you still in South Tampa?
Yes, I still live on the same street.
Get out.
I do.
Really?
In a house built in 1898 by my great-grandfather.
Now some people say South Tampa is just like people from St. Petersburg. If it doesn't happen outside of South Tampa, it doesn't happen. Is that true?
My neighborhood's different. There's a lot of families down there that have been there as long as I have, or my family has, and we have a whole different kind of attitude. We're not the Posse Hyde Park group. So.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a little dig.
We're a little more laid back.
Oh, okay. That's a little dig there. That's cool. So I asked you before, you have never had an actual structured job, right?
Maybe 1 or 2 years out of high school or out of college.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been a professional photographer since 1972, 73.
Right. So you said you've been doing this, what was it, 41 years?
41 years professionally, yes.
Wow. So yeah, I had another photographer. She did stuff with Arlene. She did stuff. She did photographs for people that were in LinkedIn that update their LinkedIn headshots and things like that. And I was telling her about a friend of mine that's a photographer, and he's not anti-digital, but he was from that old school that shot on film and had to get his film developed in the lab. And he then the whole digital age came in and changed all that. And his thing was, he said people now they're going out and buying a camera and they're getting a business card instead of a photographer.
They think.
And they have never shot on film, never went to a lab, never had to do the developments, never had to look at negatives, never had to do any of that, right?
Well, I used to keep my own darkroom, but space and time, I don't have the time to do it. But I still shoot 4x5 black and white film on a regular basis.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a Habs hair documentation job. It's a historical American building survey where we work with the architectural historian.
Oh, okay. So you still shoot some things on film?
Yes.
Now, she was telling me that, do you have to use, she said there was only one lab, and it was a lab in Lutz that developed.
That's not true.
That's, okay. So now do you develop your own stuff now? Do you outsource?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore.
So you
I
outsource.
just don't have the time for it.
Gotcha. I understand that. So 36 years. Now you were telling me about your two biggest accomplishments you did.
Yes.
Or to date that you are very proud of, right?
Yes. The crown jewels of my career, in my opinion, is I worked as a documentation photographer at NASA Kennedy Space Center for 14 years.
Wow.
We documented everything that had anything to do with the space shuttle program, any building, any apparatus, and that was just like an amazing opportunity.
Now, curious, you acquired such a large contract. How did you get it?
I was hired through the archaeological firm that was awarded the contract, and the reason I got it is because there's not that many people that shoot film anymore.
Really?
And 4x5 film is the requirements for this type of documentation. The photographs, we work with an architectural historian who writes the history of why this stuff is significant, and then the photos actually go to the Library of Congress.
Oh, so your stuff is in the library?
Yes, it is.
All right, that is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And then what was the other one that you did?
Well, we were very thrilled to be one of the official photographers for the Republican National Convention in 2012.
Yeah, when RNC came to Tampa.
Yes.
I performed for a thing that they did. had me entertain some of the people that were flying in off the plane. That was a cool thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
at the airport. Yes.
Everybody was really nice. Everybody was that was a pretty big deal that they actually had their thing in Tampa. Are you already in line to do anything for the Super Bowl? Super Bowl's coming back to Tampa?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Have they opened it up? The CBB? When does that start?
I don't think so. I'm not totally sure about that.
Okay. When is that?
They're talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I know some people are starting the game up now. I mean, they're already trying to coordinate their Super Bowl parties and.
Yes.
But it's still what, 3 or 4 Super Bowls away, isn't it? I think was it 21? Maybe
I believe
20
it's 21.
21
Yeah.
something. Okay, very cool. So now, I'm big into people that are watching, and they want to start a business, or they want to get involved in a business, but they don't have that courage to really do that. What would you advise them, or what could you tell them what advice would you give them to get the courage to start?
One of my friends says, leap and the net will appear. So,
Wow.
just got to get out there and do it. You've got to be brave about it. You're going to make some sacrifices, money-wise, in the beginning. But when I opened my first business, I had $140 in the bank, 1 camera, and 1 light.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then it mushroomed from that.
And that was in 1981.
That was in 81.
Yes.
So it wasn't like in the early 70s when $140 was okay. That was $140. It's still $140.
I was hoping I was going to eat the next week.
Wow.
So.
And what made you decide, okay, I'm going to do this, and what made you decide to do that and not take the conventional route and say, well, let me put in a resume or go get a job somewhere that was going to be guaranteed? I'm really interested to hear what $140 is your name,
Uh-huh.
and what makes you say,
That's what I wanted to do. I had been working as a photographer for other people,
yeah,
and I had the opportunity to move into a little storefront in Floorland Mall. Back then it was actually a mall. Moved into a tuxedo store that was there. He gave me some space, and I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be,
wow,
a photographer.
yeah.
So I did it. I just jumped, and the net showed up later.
People are going to hear that and they're just going to think, how brave, and they're going to just talk themselves out of it. What would you tell them when they're trying to talk themselves out of it?
Don't do it. Don't do it. If you really, really, really want to do something, you just got to get out there and go for it. If it's your passion, like people say, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. And don't give up. You've got to really work at it. It's not easy. It's not going to be simple, and it's not going to be quick. Most businesses, if you can make it the first 5 years, then you're good to go. And if you can make it through that 5 years,
You do
awesome.
understand. I gotta defend some of the younger audience here. The timeline of telling someone 5 years. To you, that's like, okay, 5 years. But that is like an eternity to some people.
yeah, well, it was an eternity for me too, that first 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
They gotta give themselves 5 years.
You can ask most people, and they will say it does take 5 years to be totally established.
I can see that.
Mhm.
Totally.
I had that conversation with somebody just a couple weeks ago, and she said they're 4.5 years, and they think they're finally made it.
They're finally
Made it because
settled.
they're at that 5-year mark.
Yeah. So you being in the business as long as you've been, doing what you've been doing as long as you've been doing it.
Mhm.
How many photographers have you seen try to run with you or over the years and they're not here anymore?
A lot. Probably 85% of the photographers I've known over my career, most of them either retired or decided to do something different. Because there was a real difficult period in 2009 when we decided to incorporate and be Mamarazzi, because that was just a branding change. We opened a retail space, which I hadn't had for 20 years. I worked from home because most of my jobs are on location.
Right.
But everybody else I knew was closing their studios and moving back to their house. So I did just the opposite of what everybody else did.
You did the opposite.
Yes.
And it worked.
It's working great.
It panned out.
Yep. We're 8 years now as Mama Rotzi Club.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So you have an actual storefront?
Yes, we do.
See, I didn't know that.
Ah.
Where's it at?
It's on South Manhattan, just south of Gandy.
Okay. All right. We got to be careful and not do anything where we're too commercial. But so you're in South Tampa off of.
Off of Gandy.
Now, what is the retail? Is it because I know you're primary B2B, business
Yeah.
to business, right? So what is that storefront? Is that for families? Is that for business executives to walk in? What exactly is that for?
It's we do a lot of headshots in the studio, the
Yeah.
executive portraits. Probably most of the ones we do are out, but my staff, we need to be together. That's where all of our equipment is, which I have way more than one camera and one light now. Because we do on-site printing, so we have 6 printers. We have all the supplies that go with that, all the backgrounds, all the stands, all the lights, because we run multiple jobs
Yeah.
at the same time. So
Wow.
that requires massive amounts of equipment.
Yes.
And first of all, I wouldn't have room at my house for that.
Yeah. Totally get that. So you have a staff and you have people that are, yeah. So I didn't know you had a storefront.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That is
Yes.
crazy. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Talk about real quick with having a storefront and servicing a customer. What are some things that you probably feel like you've learned doing that as a business owner?
Well, customer service is number one. We try to take care of our clients. We treat them as friends, not clients. We go over and above to give them the best quality we could possibly give them. Everything we do, all our headshots are refreshed, we call it.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that they are 1,000% satisfied with what we do.
Yeah.
And if for some reason they're not, we absolutely take care of it immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I've noticed personally with myself, I have a rule that when I get a lead request or somebody asks me for a quote, that I'm immediate in getting back to people.
Yep.
I mean, absolutely immediate. And speed now is crucial when it comes to getting back to people.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people are shopping so, I mean, they're shopping on their phone so fast that it's like, let me call this person. They don't get the answer they want. They immediately call the next person. And then in that transition time, I mean, it could be, you could lose potential major contract.
Oh yeah, our turnaround time for photographs,
Yeah.
for headshots is usually the same day, and if not the next day.
Wow. The next day.
Yes, and on huge jobs like week-long conventions that we shoot, we guarantee 3 business days. But a lot of those require photos every day, at least the highlights, so
Right.
they can run their slideshows
Yeah.
the next morning at the meeting.
And you're able to do a data dump and get those to them.
Yes.
So they can upload them, and that's
Yes.
cool. That's very cool.
Yes.
I see that a lot. I just did a show. I just got back last night from Denver, and they did that. They had an on-site photographer in Denver, and they were
Yes.
shooting, but at the same time, it was like photos that had happened the day before.
Mhm.
So you're seeing a bigger request for people requesting that.
We get a lot of it. Not all of them do it.
Yeah. So customer service, you say, is extremely, you found to be vital.
Oh, yes.
In what it is you do. Right? Talk about managing the employees, and talk about your being in an owner role and a manager role and managing people to either motivate them to keep their task or that.
Excuse me.
No problem. Take 2. Okay.
Wait.
Pause.
Mhm.
Pause for editing.
Pause. Can I pause and grab a
Yep.
mint?
Okay, we're gonna stop.
It's my allergies.
You okay?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just every once in a while I get a cough. I hear the
You hear him?
Now I have to see the puppy before I go.
Oh, well, that's fun.
You know, we
That's
have an
good.
office dog, a studio dog.
Really?
Yes.
I've seen, there's a couple people that's doing this.
She goes to work every day.
A studio
And
dog.
if she doesn't get to go for some reason,
And is it your dog?
yeah, one of them, she'll turn her back to me and she'll look over her shoulder. Go get in bed. Sorry about that.
No problem. That's why we're not live. That's exactly why we're not live. All right, Ben. That's the effort.
Hey, Ben.
You good?
Yeah.
Managing employees. Yeah, so talking about managing employees.
That's been probably one of the biggest challenges we've had.
Okay.
Is because we don't need a lot of full-time people. It's contract work.
Mhm.
Depending on how many events we have multiple events at the same time.
Gotcha.
So we need some people that we can depend on that have the right attitude. They know how to treat the customer. They can give us immediate turnaround on the photos. And it's just not easy to do because a lot of people, they don't want to work nights and weekends.
They don't.
But we're event photographers. That's when events happen.
Yeah.
Galas, fundraisers.
They're
It's
nice
not
and-
9 to 5.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's like some entertainers, their weekend is Monday
Mm-hmm.
because they're performing on Saturday, Sunday. But it's fun. I've been finding recently with the corporate stuff that I've been doing that I'm thankful because it's like a lot of corporate stuff is like in the middle of the week, and it gives me time to do the consumer stuff on the weekends. But it seems like the meetings and the some of the conferences are happening, in the middle of the day, and it's on a Tuesday, and I love it when that happens. Like, and I'm actually off on the weekend, which is not common at all. No, not. When you open up your business and you were doing your thing and starting your business, talk about what was the family response?
My family?
Were they supportive? Were they naysayers? Were they skeptical? Were they think it was a phase?
No, I was on my own by the time I was 18, supporting myself, living on my own, so I really didn't have any family to contend with that, so
That's good.
it was just a
So that was a good thing because it didn't. Some people use family as, I don't say an excuse, but it's like a reason that they don't.
Well,
they don't
it
do
could
it.
certainly be a complication.
Yeah.
It's not like I was married and had kids at that time that would give your time constraint obligations, because you can't leave your kids out on the street corner when they get out of school. Yeah, so you gotta balance your work life and your family life. But I didn't have to do that, so I was good to go. I could work 20 hours a day every day. It's no
Now,
problem.
did you work 20 hours a day, Tom?
There's been times when 16, 18-hour days, especially when you're doing conventions.
Yeah.
You start with a 7 o'clock breakfast and you end at the award ceremony at 11 o'clock midnight.
Yeah.
And that's 4 or 5 days in a row.
Wow. That's great.
I
So-
think that's what keeps me young.
Is it? So, in general, being in business, because you've been in business 36 years, you say, and having your business for 36 years, let's talk about just can you give 3, and we're going to count them off, 3 basic business tips you would give to any business owner out there, whether it be photography or anything, just 3 general things that you found to be about business, 3 basic things.
Well, make sure that everything is legal. You do your taxes right. Get your certificates that you need, your business licenses. Do that first. Don't do it afterwards. Pay your taxes. That's what happened to one of the photographers I work for. He never paid his taxes, so the IRS shut him down.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's 1. 2.
That's one. Number 2, get involved with associations that cater to the type of business you want to do. So like for us, because we do a lot of events, we make sure we belong to Meeting Planners International, visit Tampa Bay, West Shore Alliance. Make sure you join the chambers. We belong to 2 chambers, South Tampa Chamber and Greater Tampa Chamber. And get involved. You can't just belong to those, you have to be involved.
Yes.
Then that's the way you're going to grow your network and target people that use your services.
That's 2. What's number 3?
I heard a speaker one time say that you need to ride your horse out 10 years into the future, see what technology is happening then. You've got to come back and implement it now, or you're going to end up the way of Smith Corona, Kodak, Polaroid, a lot of companies that did not implement technology first and just kind of rode along on the tail of it, and they're no longer here.
They didn't catch up.
Right. You can't catch up.
The digital age completely passed them.
Yes.
Yeah. When the digital age happened, I know, like I said, I talk about my friend because he was pretty. He dealt with the whole switch of film to digital. Was that a hard transition for you?
It was awful.
It was.
It was awful. Having always been a film person, not only was it difficult and I didn't really want to do it, it's hugely expensive to buy all those digital cameras. So not just the camera, you've got to have all the equipment to go with it. You've got to have the computers. You've got to have all this extra stuff.
And the software.
And the software, which none of it's cheap either. So it was a huge commitment to switch to digital.
And some people didn't, and they went away. They just didn't make the transition.
A lot of people didn't. There's a cult that that are still that
oh man,
that know that films like The Cat's Meow, but that's great for art photography. For my clients, I have to have immediate turnaround, and you're not going to get that with film.
I get it. I very much get it. You talked about and you touched on equipment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said that a lot of people will ask you, "Oh, do you take fantastic photographs? What kind of camera is that?"
And I reply, to a guy that asked me that. He was an author, and I said, "Well, that's great. I love your books. What kind of computer do you use?" It's not about the equipment. I can do the same thing with a $100 digital camera.
Wow.
It's composition, it's lighting, it's knowing how to coax the right reaction out of your subject, the right posing. It's really not about equipment.
It's not about equipment. So,
You gotta have the equipment, but
yeah. So people because there's somebody that might want to start doing photography and stuff, and they're using the excuse of, "I don't have money for a $3,000 camera." What would you tell them?
that we don't use $3,000 cameras. They, especially with digital, they are obsolete so quick. We replace ours every 2 years, but I'm putting several 100,000 images through it every year, and we have six cameras that we're using right now. Film cameras, I could keep them for 10, 15 years because it was just mechanical style,
Right.
and they're easily fixed. But when these go, they're just big paperweights.
They're big paper.
Expensive ones. But
Yeah. Okay. So it's really about the experience and understanding.
it's about knowledge of being a photographer.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to know the lighting.
So it's just not point and shoot, as they say.
Right, no. And the thing I hate the most is say, "Oh, we'll just fix it in Photoshop." I'm not a Photoshop professional. I'm a photographer. Shoot it right in the first place, guys.
Wow. Ooh. Some of the digital people ain't gonna like that. But that's.
That means they're lazy.
Well, she's going in, man. She is going in on y'all.
Well, it's true. If you want to be a photographer, be a photographer. If you want to be a Photoshop professional, be a Photoshop professional. Take your pick.
Yeah. So it's not this. Well, whatever I don't do right, I'll just try to fix it.
That's awful.
Yeah.
We
Do it right the first time.
we were showing one of our upcoming photographers how we shoot things, and we're like, "Do not do it this way." He goes, "That looks okay to me." I said, "We don't do okay.
Wow.
We strive for excellence in everything we do.
Top notch.
Top notch.
Yeah.
And if it's not good enough."
Right. And that's the way, and I'm sure that helps when it comes to when people are hiring you and booking you, it's got to be a certain way. And they know that when they pay, they're going to get a quality of a product
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to question if it's going to be okay. It's going to be.
It's going to be, it has to be outstanding.
Yeah.
Or we won't get another job from them. And I've got clients. In July, I shot a convention in Knoxville this year. It was my 32nd year with this same group.
Wow.
32 years.
32 years.
Yes.
That's good. That's incredible right there. Before we close, give the general consumer, right? Because I'm sure there's a couple of tricks or tips. Comes to just, they're at an event, they got their iPhone or they got their smartphone and they want to take a photograph. What would you, give them 3 basic tips to get good photographs from a technical standpoint out of just a basic camera. What would you do?
A basic camera or a phone?
Either one.
Okay, first of all, if you're using your phone, turn your flash on. It's going to stop the movement in it so they're not so blurry. Get in tight, watch what you're including in the frame. Get on their eye level. So if you're shooting kids, get down with them. If you're shooting pets, get down on their level. Talk to them so you can elicit a pleasant expression so they're happy instead of going.
That's cool.
You don't want that. You want a natural smile out of people or see natural interactions.
A genuine reaction, not
Genuine.
not a pose like, okay, everybody hold it and that's cool. So get on their eye level, use the flash, and elicit a general response.
And watch your frame and your composition.
Okay, very cool. Well, you have your storefront at South Tampa.
Yes, we do.
Okay, very cool. And then we're going to put up a contact number for any of y'all have questions. Penny has agreed to help people or give you some advice if it comes to photography or anything like that. We'll put that in at the end. Is there anything you want to close with before we leave?
Keep smiling, people.
Okay, that's cool. All right, thank y'all for tuning in. We got some very cool magic tricks coming up next. Thank y'all very much. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
You like it?
Yeah.
That was easy, wasn't it?
Good.
Cool. Stay there.